Ever wonder about the hidden meanings behind the stories of figures like Abraham, Noah, and Enoch? The history of many spiritual traditions is deeply woven with patriarchs, who represent far more than just historical figures. They embody stages of mystical knowledge. Let's start with Abraham. Born in in ancient Babylonia, he wasn't just a shepherd, he was an astrologer, a master of celestial contemplation. Tradition says he discovered the one true God not through a sudden revelation, but by observing the heavens and the natural world. His wisdom was legendary. When you hear about Abraham's covenant with God, there's a profound layer of symbolism. The act of circumcision, known as Abraham's seal, and the changing of his name from Abram to Abraham was a major initiation. Numerically, the name Abraham adds up to 248, corresponding to the number of positive commandments in the Torah. In astro-symbology, Abraham is linked to the planet Saturn, representing discipline and structure. Even his family names hint at a connection to the moon god Sin, which was worshipped in It suggests a journey from one form of cosmic understanding to a new, more profound covenant. Then we have Isaac, Abraham's son, promised by God in old age. The story of Abraham being asked to sacrifice Isaac is a powerful test of faith. Interestingly, in Islamic tradition, it's Ishmael, Abraham's other son, who is the subject of this test. This divergence highlights how different traditions interpret these foundational events. The story itself isn't just about obedience, it's a deep allegory about surrendering one's most cherished attachments to the divine will, a pivotal step on any spiritual path. Next in this lineage is Jacob, who later becomes Israel. Jacob's journey is one of transformation. He marries in Haran, a place of significant spiritual activity, and it's there he is reborn as Israel. What does Israel mean? The common translation is "he who struggles with God," referring to his famous wrestling match with an angel. But there are deeper meanings. In ancient Egyptian, Israel can be interpreted as the visible soul or face of the light of God. Gnostic texts and the philosopher Philo offer another interpretation. Israel is the man that sees God. This isn't just a name change, it signifies a complete shift in consciousness from a man struggling with the divine to one who directly perceives it. So who were the Israelites? The term often refers to the people who held the secret oral teachings, what would later be known as Kabbalah. Some Gnostic traditions even propose a surprising origin, suggesting the original Israelites were Indo-Europeans or Aryans. They connect this to the very first man, Adam, whose name can mean "he who blushes red," linking it to a reddish or ruddy complexion. And the term Hebrew? It might derive from Heber or Geber, ancient ancestors, pointing to a lineage that predates the common historical narrative. These interpretations challenge us to look beyond the surface and see these terms as markers of a specific spiritual lineage and esoteric knowledge, not just ethnic labels. Now let's talk about Noah and the Ark. This story is globally recognized, a tale of a great flood and a man chosen to save life on earth. Noah is seen as the second founder of the human race, but esoterically, the story of the Ark, or Kibotos, is a parallel to another great preservation event, the Israelites' emigration from a lost land, sometimes identified as Atlantis or even Egypt. The Ark is a powerful symbol. On one level, it represents spiritual rebirth. It's the womb within the mind, the sacred space in our consciousness where the spiritual self is immaculately conceived and protected from the chaotic waters of the material world. This is the opposite of the more literal, exoteric interpretations. In another sense, the Ark is also seen as a symbol or a type of the universal spiritual community, a vessel carrying the seeds of divine wisdom through turbulent times. Moving further back in the lineage of wisdom, we encounter Seth and Enoch. Seth was the third son of Adam, and in what's known as the Sethian tradition, he represents the lineage of pure, uncorrupted wisdom. Certain Gnostic sects proudly trace their spiritual ancestry directly back to him. The Haggadah, a collection of Jewish legends, makes a fascinating connection. It identifies Noah's son, Shem, with the mysterious figure Melchizedek, and Seth is considered part of this same line of wisdom keepers. The descendants of Seth were known as the sons of God, people who lived pious lives, always cherishing a deep longing, a nostalgia for the lost paradise, for a state of divine unity. Then there's Enoch, a truly enigmatic figure. The traditions say Enoch taught humanity the science of the stars, astrology. He was the great initiator into celestial mysteries. In Gnostic myths, Enoch holds a unique status. He is the one who was born and did not die. He walked with God and was taken directly into the divine presence without experiencing physical death. This signifies the ultimate goal of spiritual attainment, transcending the cycle of birth and death and achieving immortality not of the body, but of the conscious soul. Enoch represents the human potential to achieve this state of enlightenment. Finally, this brings us to one of the most mysterious figures in all of Scripture, Melchizedek. He appears briefly in Genesis, a priest of the Most High God and the King of Salem, which means peace. He is often associated with the sun deity Sedek, or righteousness. As we mentioned, Jewish tradition sometimes identifies him with Shem, Noah's son. But it's a passage in the New Testament book of Hebrews that truly elevates his status. It describes him as being without father, without mother, without descent, having neither beginning of days nor end of life. This description points to a being who exists outside the normal constraints of human lineage and time. He represents a timeless universal priesthood. The phrase, "after the order of Melchizedek," used to describe Jesus, is incredibly significant. It suggests that Jesus wasn't just starting something new, but was part of an ancient established line of philosophic initiates, a brotherhood of enlightened beings that stretches back through time. This order of Melchizedek is the eternal priesthood of light and wisdom, a lineage not of blood, but of consciousness. From Abraham the astrologer to Jacob who saw God, from Noah's protective ark to Enoch's ascension, and culminating in the timeless order of Melchizedek, we see a golden thread of esoteric knowledge. It's a journey of initiation, inviting each of us to look beyond the letter of the law and discover the living spirit within these timeless stories. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive. If you enjoyed exploring these hidden layers of meaning, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you do not miss our next journey into the heart of ancient wisdom. See you next time.